Well, expanding your creative thinking and problem-solving skills can be very beneficial in all your relationships, professional and otherwise. With me this morning is educator and author Carrie Osgood. Carrie, it's good to have you.
Wonderful to be here.
Really important topics here. What inspired you to create your books, first of all?
So my books are a little different.
Okay.
They're visual and verbal, so they don't fit into traditional silos and structures by any means. But for me, the core inspiration of everything I do is exploration. So whether you're exploring the world, whether you're exploring your own individual relationship with the world, or whether you're exploring the creative process and creative possibilities. And so that always is sort of overhead what inspires my own, the stories I create myself. But then everything I produce also aims to educate and inspire people.
Okay, what an interesting take as I'm listening to you talk. Now let's dig into the content of the books. What do you think we can learn from them?
So two of the books, Escapades in Caves and Path to the Palace, are inspirational gift books, allegorical picture books, children's books for adults. They're really meant to just inspire people to feel more connected with their own individual journey in life.
Yeah.
And Path to the Palace focuses a bit more on when the world's going one way and you can't follow that path.
Got it, yeah.
How do you find, what's your path? How do you find your own path? And Escapades in Caves focuses a bit more on the emotional journey of the highs and lows of coming to peace with what I like to call both the comfort and the coarseness of caves.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and then the Data Atlas of the World may seem very different, but when I said exploration, it makes sense. Yeah. It's a book of, it's a collection of information graphics of the world. So it's a way that maps of the world where you can really start looking at the world in a very different way. And so it's used much more as an educational tool for people.
I feel like each book is very unique and very different. Now, how do you think the books help people who are really looking to expand their creativity or maybe breaking out of the cycle of how we think and see things?
Yeah, so typically when people think about storytelling, I actually say it's traditional storytelling. Characters and worlds with conflicts and those types of things. And the silos of I'm just a writer or I'm just a photographer, I'm just an illustrator.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been so excited throughout my career about all the alternative possibilities. And so to me, I love whether it's conceptual storytelling, which is the cave metaphor, or when you're talking about data storytelling, which would be the data atlas, or what I also call just cross-format storytelling, when you're merging the visual and the verbal together so that it's just an incredibly intuitive, all-encompassing multisensory experience. Because to me, storytelling isn't just the plot.
Yeah.
It's about how you're connecting with people. It's about the emotional resonance that you feel when you're reading and viewing and you're just feeling something that expands your world.
Of course, and you definitely want to connect with the reader and keep us reading, right? Okay, AI, obviously you've heard a lot about it, how it's kind of making its way into so many different things. How is it impacting storytelling in particular, and do you apply that into your creative process?
Yeah, so for me, I view it as it's a valuable tool to some people in their creative process, but the end results, they tend to be, they lack individuality, specificity, and most importantly, heart.
Of course.
The emotion, it's robotic. And so I think in terms of having it, I don't use it myself yet, but I know many people who's like, oh, it just helps me see the possibilities. But for me, what I love is just going beyond those traditional silos and structures. That is what AI is all about.
Yeah.
To say, hey, let's really, there's still a way to have that heart and emotion in our storytelling, and you can only do that by being, distinctive and magnetic. And like, what is your voice? What is your distinction? How can you be memorable and have your fingerprint with the whatever it is that's your story.
That's right, and you bring up a good point, whereas in AI applies to so many different things, but there's nothing like you being you and expressing your own creativity and your own voice. Okay, quickly, you use your books also for professional training. I'm really interested in hearing about how you do that.
Yes, so I have a background as a university professor and creative consultant, so I've been working with students and clients for a very, very long time. time. And for me, my specialty is like, yes, I create my own work,
Yeah.
but I especially love helping excavate that distinction and individuality in everybody who's creating whatever it is they need to create, whether it's visual, verbal, a hybrid, whether it's professional, whether it's just for their own emotional healing, whatever it is, you know, helping people and supporting people find that own them, you know, what is their story. And so
Yeah.
I created Your Story GPS to guide people to help them find their story. These are my stories. What are your stories?
That's
How can I
right.
help you really feel, you know, that you're able to be incredibly confident in whatever it is that you're putting out in the world?
Step into your story. I absolutely love that, because I do think everyone has a story, and we should embrace our stories, because there are
Absolutely.
stories a part of our lives.
Always, always, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Carrie, for being with us this morning. Really interesting conversation.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Of course. And if you would like to learn more about Carrie Osgood's books, well, you can do so, KarrieOsgood.com, and you can become part of a new creative community at YourStoryGPS.comm.